These are 7 of the most impossible eras to survive in. There's a common misconception that people in ancient times were less intelligent than us. But the truth is, they simply had fewer resources to work with. Today, we'll show you just how brutal those times were and the ingenious ways people still managed to endure. Watch until the end, and you'll notice how humanity's problems slowly shifted away from nature and began coming from ourselves. The Ice Age was a frozen wasteland. Glaciers stretched for miles, and the world was ruled by cold, hunger, and predators. Daily life meant hunting mammoths with crude weapons, building fires just to survive the night, and huddling in caves for warmth. Hygiene didn't exist. Smoke and dirt clung to bodies constantly. Men hunted, women gathered, but survival depended on everyone in the tribe. One failed hunt could mean death for all. The odds of survival? Terrible. The most common cause of death wasn't war or plague, it was starvation or freezing. How did they survive? They endured through unity. Tribes pooled resources, tracked herds across vast distances, and preserved meat with smoke and ice. Fire was their shield, providing warmth, light, and protection. Animal skins became clothing, caves became shelter. They survived by adapting together. Now go back even further, the hominid era. This was humanity in its rawest form. Forests and savannas swarmed with predators, saber-toothed cats, giant hyenas, and massive birds of prey. Daily life meant wandering for food, cracking bones for marrow, and learning to control fire for the first time. Hygiene? None. Parasites, infections, and diseases killed as often as predators. Men and women worked together, but women carried the harshest burden. Most children didn't survive. Life expectancy was short. Most didn't live past 30. The most likely cause of death? Predators, infections, or childbirth. How did they survive? By cooperating in groups, using stone tools to hunt and defend, and learning to cook food for more nutrition. They shared resources, developed social bonds, and slowly adapted their skills. Survival wasn't just strength, it was innovation and teamwork. Fast forward to medieval Europe and the invisible killer, the Black Death. Whole towns were abandoned, corpses piled in the streets. People fled cities, locked themselves indoors, or turned to superstition. Hygiene was non-existent. Rats and fleas thrived in filth, spreading plague everywhere. Families often abandoned each other. Men left wives, parents left children, and fear destroyed bonds. Your odds of survival were basically 1 in 3. The most common cause of death? Bubonic plague infection. How did they survive? Many who lived did so by isolation, leaving crowded cities, hiding in rural villages, or avoiding trade routes. Some had natural immunity, while others survived by sheer luck. Over time, communities learned quarantine and better food handling, slowly rebuilding from the devastation. While disease destroyed Europe, the Mongols destroyed civilizations. Picture it. Endless horsemen sweeping across the land, cities burning, smoke filling the skies. Daily life under Mongol threat meant constant fear of raids, slaughter, or enslavement. Surprisingly, Mongol warriors kept better hygiene than many peasants, bathing in rivers. But their enemies lived in famine and fire. For men, survival was rare. Many were killed outright. For women, capture meant a lifetime of abuse. The chance of survival, almost none if your city resisted. The most likely cause of death, massacre, or starvation. How did they survive? Civilians often fled into forests or mountains. Some surrendered quickly, offering tribute. Others aligned with the Mongols, trading loyalty for safety. Survival came through hiding, compromise, or submission, adapting to the unstoppable tide of conquest. Next comes one of the darkest chapters in human history, the Middle Passage. Imagine being chained below deck, packed shoulder to shoulder with no light, no air, and no hope. Daily life meant starvation, beatings, and disease spreading like wildfire. Hygiene didn't exist. People lay in filth, chained in their own waste. Women were abused. Men were beaten into submission. Families were torn apart forever. 1 in 5 never survived the voyage. The most common cause of death? Disease and suffocation. How did they survive? Enslaved people endured through willpower and resilience. They preserved culture, songs, stories, and faith. To maintain identity, they formed bonds in chains, supporting one another. On plantations, survival meant secret networks, preserving traditions, and resisting where possible. Survival wasn't just physical, it was cultural and spiritual, keeping hope alive when everything else was stripped away. Jump to the 20th century, and survival looked like this. Endless mud, barbed wire, and shellfire. Daily life in the trenches meant rats, lice, and corpses. Soldiers never escaped the stench of death. Hygiene was horrific. Trench foot, rotted flesh, lice, spread fevers, and open latrines poisoned the air. Men lived and died in the mud. Women at home filled factories or hospitals, bearing scars of war in different ways. Chance of survival? Slim. Some units lost half their men in days. The most common cause of death, artillery shells. How did they survive? Soldiers clung to comradeship, built routines, and rotated shifts to reduce despair. Helmets, gas masks, and dugouts offered limited protection. Writing letters, singing songs, and finding moments of normalcy kept spirits alive. Survival meant endurance, adaptation, and holding on to hope that one day it would end. And finally, number 7, the Holodomor. Ukraine's fields were stripped bare by Stalin's policies, and famine spread quickly. Daily life was silence. Families boiled grass, leather, or bark just to keep going. Hunger gnawed at every moment, and entire towns fell into despair. Hygiene vanished. There was no strength for anything but hunger. Disease followed starvation, taking even more lives. Men often died first from labor demands. Women sometimes abandoned children out of desperation, while others tried to shield them. Families collapsed under hunger. The odds of survival? Almost entirely luck. The most likely cause of death? Starvation. How did they survive? A few endured through hidden grain black markets or fleeing to less affected regions. Others survived by sharing scraps with neighbors, forming secret networks, and holding on to sheer will to live. Survival came from secrecy, defiance, and resilience in the face of a system designed to starve them. From frozen ages and predators to plague and famine, these were the most impossible eras to survive in. If you lived in any of them, the odds were never in your favor. Which era do you think was the hardest to survive? Comment your answer below and subscribe for more brutal history breakdowns, because the past is darker than you think.